All right, well, good afternoon. I'm here today with Janelle, who is an amazing volunteer and a board member of Global Hope. And just excited to talk to you, Janelle, about your experience with Global Hope and your passion for mission trips and for Kenya. And just want to learn all about your experience. So thanks for joining me today, and we'll just get started.
Sounds
So
great. Thanks for having me here, Sarah.
absolutely. So tell me first, how did you learn about or become connected to Global Hope?
So, I learned about Global Hope several years ago when I was approached by a friend at church who said they had had an opportunity from Global Hope to help with a project at Anna's house. And it was when they were starting their community garden and thought it was going to be a good fit. So, we kind of got plugged in with Global Hope on an annual basis through that, and then kept in touch with newsletters, and then started attending banquets. And then most recently, I had the honor of leading a mission trip for Global Hope to Kenya.
Wonderful. So talk about a seed being planted and sprouted. That's a great connection with the garden. Um,
It was a great long term, and from one end to the other, but it was nice to see how it's all come together.
Absolutely. So what inspired you to take that step to go on your first mission trip then?
Well, our church had been taking some teams for a couple years. And when I started to get to know some of the team members and I heard about their experiences and the joy that they would have when they came back, I was like, oh, I could have an interest in that. And then a close friend of mine who I volunteered with said, hey, I'm going to be leading a mission trip to Kenya. Would you and your family be interested? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Why would I take my teenage kids over to Kenya? And I'm like,
Yeah.
but it sounds good. And the more I thought on it and the more I prayed on it, I was just instantly drawn to this is the right path. And I was really excited to go with our whole family. And from there, it's like you said, a passion was just lit, and it's been in my heart ever since.
Wow, what an amazing story of listening to God's whisper and calling, right? Because
Yes,
he just
definitely.
kept hitting you with it and saying, "Nope, I think it's time to
Yeah,
to
it
go."
did.
And could you also take all your kids with you and your family?
Well, fortunately, I only have 2, and they were teenagers, 15 and 17, but it was
Yeah, but
also the prime time for them to for us to be able to experience this as a family and for them to see a different part of the world, in terms of poverty, education,
sure.
um, different living situations. So it was a great experience for them too, for all of us.
And what moves you the most? I'm sure certainly a lot of things, but what moves you the most about Kenya and your desire to keep returning, keep returning?
For me, it's always the people. It's the joy that you see in the Kenyan people in their circumstances and the hardships that they live, the challenges they face, and through everything, their face just shines with glory and praise for God. And through everything, they're singing, they're worshiping, and it's beautiful to see. You go over there and they are welcoming to you. They want to host you. It's like you're this gift that's been given to them, and we're like, oh my gosh, you're giving so much to us by your welcoming and your sharing and being open and willing to let us into your world and your difficulties, which isn't easy to do when you're struggling sometimes.
Certainly. So really seeing so much deep joy and faith in the people there. What advice would you give to someone who's considering going on a mission trip um, in the future? Maybe they're sitting in that spot where you were like, "What? Take everybody to Kenya? Why would I go to Kenya?"
Yeah.
What advice would you give
The first advice I would say is, of course, prayer. Pray about it. And secondly, why do you want to go to Kenya, or why do you want to do this mission trip? What is driving you? What is your motivation? What fears do you have? And I think just addressing that at the beginning, and like, this is something, it's a big long plan and I may not know anything, but knowing that you'll be guided along the way, you're going to have support along the way. How do I prepare going into a country where I don't know if I'm going to eat the food and I'm going to be ill, which sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't. Um, I think listening to the Holy Spirit, that when you get that urge and that nudge to say, this feels right, I get joy when I think about it. I'm praying about it, and God is speaking to me in different ways. And
Mhm.
also, there may be a time when God is saying, maybe this isn't the right time for you to physically be there, but that doesn't
Mhm.
mean you can't participate in a mission trip too. And I think once you commit to it, I would say don't be afraid about it. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of strange things, but you're always with people who are there for you, to protect you, to guide you, to pray for you, and it always works out. Um,
Right.
trust in the Lord, and rely on your team when as you're meeting people, and it'll be a great experience.
All wonderful suggestions and advice for someone considering. And that component of really saying, okay, I'm leaning in, God, I'm just going to keep leaning in is so important.
Yes.
So
Yes.
important. So I think to wrap up, unless there's other things you'd like to share, how do you plan to continue to support and volunteer Global Hope after all your mission trips? And I guess really more, we talked a little bit what you're doing already, but why continue on with Global Hope? What's the passion in your heart? What's drawing you?
I I think that the passion and the draw is the children itself. Global Hope is an organization that I've enjoyed being a part of, whether it's Romania, India, Kenya. I look forward to being a part of all of those different areas, being able to participate and partner with somebody who has the knowledge and the experience to help these children, and has different ways to be able to help kids, whether it's in small ways or big ways. I'm very excited to become a part of the board here at Global Hope. I'm excited to lead another trip to Kenya someday. And I'm excited to learn more about Romania and India, not knowing much about those programs. I feel like there's such an opportunity for growth and to share and to be, it's an outlet in a sense for when somebody asks me, well, how do I help, or what do I do? I've got multiple ways you can help.
Let me tell you.
I've got this organization who can put you in touch and guide you and lead you. And just the beautiful things that Global Hope has done, and their commitment in all three areas, and the willingness to continue to grow and support. Um, I just really, I mesh with that. It brings joy to my heart. And when you hear that calling, like I keep saying, listen to that,
Right.
and be prayerful in it. And I think God's put me in an exciting place to learn more with Global Hope.
Well, Janelle, your passion and your heart and your commitment and your service and your giving of your time, just the list goes on, is such an inspiration um, for, I know, the team at Global Hope, but for so many people. Yeah, on behalf of all those kids, just thank you for your service and for your heart, and your family as well. We appreciate you, and we're really glad you're on the Global Hope team.
Thank you. And it's an honor to do that. And it's a privilege to work with you. And I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for sharing, Janelle.
Yeah.